Okay, here we go. Dinner time. Okay. Christmas. Well, our Christmas. This works a lot better as a dinner table than as a card table, don't you think? It's so lousy.
I don't know, I haven't found any tables that were a problem with playing cards.
Hey, somebody set the place wrong. The salad fork
Yeah,
is supposed to be
I
on
know.
the outside.
I know.
Who was that? Was that
That was
you?
me. You know, we have all this room to play cards here.
Mm-hmm.
The tables that we have to set our stuff on there are like that. Had to see us trying to fit cards on it.
It's very creative. If somebody
That's
has
how
a-
it is when you're like trying to play cards on a plane. You have
Yeah.
the little tiny.
Yeah,
Tables.
same idea. Yep. When you and Laura used to play on airplanes, did you play gin or rummy?
No,
Lori and I play gin a lot because it's easier on the plane.
yeah.
I don't really remember how to play gin. I mean, I know the basic concept of it.
It's the same thing as rummy, except
You just keep everything in your hand.
Pretty much.
and you can't get anything up to the top part.
Kenny was telling us about an interesting rule variation
Oh, I
that,
went online and
that some
found
of the
this.
guys up there play, which actually makes sense, but I mean, we're tradition bound, we're not going to do it. But let's say you play King, Queen, Joker. Okay? If somebody has the ace, they can put the ace in and take your Joker.
Huh.
Now, you still get the same number of points, but they have acquired your Joker and they can use it.
That would be really nice
Keep
sometimes.
you
Wouldn't
from
it be
playing
nice
your Joker
sometimes?
so early.
I feel like I almost always have the card in my hand that the Joker is. You know what I mean? Happens to me all the time.
Yeah. At least there would be a little satisfaction.
There, I went online and there are a whole bunch of variations on rummy.
Yeah, and it's absolutely no difference to the person who has put the cards down. I mean, as
Yeah.
far as they're concerned, the Joker's gone, and it's worth that 10
It's
or
worth the
15
same
points or
amount, yeah.
whatever it is. So for the guy who takes the Joker, it's both the advantage and the disadvantage that a Joker always is.
Yeah.
Like, you could get caught with that sucker. But, it's
And
great.
everybody knows you have it at that point.
And everybody knows you have it. Good point.
I can't remember, do you take it only if you can use it, or if, can you just put it in your hand?
Well, we'd have to check with Kenny, but I was thinking
No,
that
it
if
wasn't me,
you
he's
got...
not the one that found it, I found it online.
Oh. Well, I don't know, but I would think that the only criteria is you have the card. So you make the switch.
I'm going to play a couple hands that way and see what it's like.
Tell us about the apartment and finding it and what the arrangements are going to be.
I found it because a friend of mine lives in the apartment next door and is going to next year as well.
Is that one of those guys that's going to... Yeah.
Jacob lives there right now, and then his roommate Abby is moving out, and Gardy's gonna move in. Because Abby's a
And
senior.
Jacob was in speech and debate, and so
was
was
Gardy.
Gardy. Yep.
So is this
We know
closer
him.
to campus?
It's a little bit closer, yeah, and it's on the other side of campus. No, I think it's really. I hung out with both of them the other day, and I was like, it's so cool that like, you know, just a few months ago, these were just guys that I didn't know super well who I was casting, and now they're gonna be my neighbors, and they've ended up being some of my closest friends. I think that's really cool.
So it's closer to town?
It's right in between campus and the village,
Yeah,
so
for
it's
you,
right in between
close-
school and work.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say. It's closer to work, too. Yeah. So, assuming you like apartment living, which you probably will,
But now we're
it
only
might
there
be
for
a
a
little
year.
noisier.
If not, we're only there for a year, you know? And the people on both sides of us, we know, so if it ever gets, like, too loud, nobody's gonna be afraid to be like, hey, shut up.
Yeah.
Or just go over and join the party.
Yeah.
No need to bang on the walls.
And per person, does it end up being cheaper
Than where we are now?
than where you are now?
Yeah, we're paying $575, so it's $287.50 each. And we only have to pay electric and cable, or electric and internet. So we don't have to pay gas. It's electric heat, so that, I mean, it's going to be more expensive, but we're not paying water or sewage.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
is a
do
big
pay
deal.
that now?
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to be paying, half of $575? Mm-hmm. And what are you paying now? Over $300?
We pay $3 each. Honestly, our lease is supposed to be for $1,000, which would be $333 each, but they lowered it for us
Oh, nice.
because they really wanted us. This was like 2 years ago, and if honestly, I think if we stayed in the house, they would up it.
Probably.
Do you know yet what Richie is going to do?
Yeah, she's moving into a house. She's got some people she's moving in with.
Oh. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That eliminates a potential source of guilt.
Yeah, no, I think she's looking forward to it. I think it'll probably be better for her. And us.
Well, even if it isn't, it won't be your problem.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
When does Miranda find out where she's student teaching?
It won't be until first semester next year.
Yeah, but when does
A
she
little bit.
find out where?
First semester next year.
Oh,
She's student teaching second semester
okay,
next year.
okay.
Yeah. She might find out sooner than that, but I kind of doubt it.
So technically,
There's this
yeah.
little problem of, what were you saying? You have to be out of your house by September 1st.
We have to be out of our house by July 31st, and we can't move into our apartment until August 12th. I think I'm going to shoot an email to our new landlord, but honestly, the best she's going to do is just push it back a couple days. Which means we're still having to rent a storage unit, you know? So what difference is that really going to
You
make?
have to pay for a whole month regardless.
Yeah.
And the hassle of
And-
moving twice.
And moving twice.
And she's prorating our rent. So, really, if we have to rent a storage unit for a month, then the later we move in, the better.
Yeah. You got some muscular boys to help you?
I've got my mom and Patrick. And my Uncle James, I'm sure, will help me. He helped last time. I was gonna try to store my stuff in somebody's basement because I didn't want to pay for a storage unit, but Mom was like, no, if I'm helping you move twice, I'm not helping you move up and downstairs.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll get you a storage unit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's because we're getting all new appliances, which would be very nice.
They're in.
And they're recarpeting. That's why that 12
that's
days.
gonna be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so the 12 days isn't like a mismatch between
No,
tenants,
it's because
that they're
it's because the
renovating.
tenant that's there now, their lease doesn't end until August 1st. And then after they move out, they're replacing the carpet and the utilities.
You know, it'd be
The
cool if you
appliances.
could find somebody that already has a storage unit and just rent a little space from them.
I don't know of anyone who would have a storage unit in Muncie though. Unless Austin had something. I don't think he does anymore. He did for a little bit. I don't think he does anymore. I don't know. Mom said she'd help me with it, so to me it's not an issue anymore. If she's gonna help pay for it.
Well, moving twice is not fun.
Well, no, but that's not going to be avoided. The only thing that could be avoided is whether I'm paying.
Well,
more
if
or
you're
less for a
working
unit.
and you need someplace to stay, I work not that far away.
Yeah.
So you can stay here and drive back and forth.
Yeah,
to work.
I've got a bunch of friends up there too that I could stay with. I mean, Jacob and Gardy aren't leaving, so I could even stay right next door to my apartment. You know?
Do they ever ruin theirs to store your stuff?
No, the apartments are little. We're not even gonna have enough room for our stuff.
Uh-oh. You know what that means.
No, I'm gonna try to get rid of a lot because I'm gonna have to downsize even more when I move to Chicago, probably. So, I mean, anything that I don't need,
Yeah.
I'm getting rid of.
Well, we can fit stuff in our basement. We don't want to, but we can.
Should we check on the lasagna?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Take some butter.
Well, tell us about Hallie. How did you meet her? Just through theater?
I don't know. Hallie just appeared in our lives at one point, and now here she is. That's all I've got. Literally, I mean, Hallie went from like someone we didn't know to someone who was on our couch nearly every night within like a week and a half.
Well, she's very outgoing, so I can see that happening.
She and Miranda became pretty good friends. I think she kind of idolized Miranda in some way because she's a really big fan of Reflex, which is the improv troupe that Miranda's in. And so she had seen her do that a lot, and then once she met her, I think she kind of like clung to her because she thought she was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ended up at our house a lot. I think she also was in a very like in-between period where she had just lost a decent amount of friends. And she doesn't have family, so friends are super important. So when she found people who were nice to her and like good friends,
Yeah.
she held on to that.
You take a 4-letter
You
word
know,
and
I was-
to a half-hour conversation.
I was kind of amazed to find out that Miranda is in that improv group because obviously I have sort of misjudged her because I thought that she was very quiet and shy. And you really can't be
I
quiet.
think she's very polite. So I think like meeting family, she's just like very, not formal, but I think she's just like very polite.
Reserved.
Reserved, and she like takes time to like figure out who people are before she starts being crazy and weird.
But
you know.
she does start being crazy and weird.
Oh yeah, Miranda's a freaking weirdo. All over.
We're gonna hope
Yeah, I mean, if you met the two of them, or if I met the two of them on first meeting, I'd say Hallie's the improv
Yeah.
person and Miranda's the, I don't know, librarian.
Yeah. That'd be a good fit.
That's funny.
Hallie stays at your house a lot of times.
She doesn't get along super well with her roommates, but she also doesn't have a car. So if she's over at our house at night and we're all kind of dozing off on the couch, which is what we end up doing most nights, is we'll end up in the living room watching TV together, and then we'll start to doze off and end up going to bed, you know. At that point, nobody wants to take her home. Or if anybody's been drinking, like, she doesn't have a car, so obviously she's not going to go home if she doesn't have someone to take her home. And she
How
lives...
does she get to work?
Takes the bus.
She doesn't
doesn't
work
she
right
say?
now, but she just got a job, so she's gonna start carpooling with people, I think. She's getting a car soon. Apparently her aunt is getting a new car. Or no, her aunt has 2 cars and is getting rid of one and is gonna give her that one.
This is a really nice aunt she's got.
Yeah. They're like, from what I understand, they're like close to being millionaires. Yeah, it kind of just happens. There's weeks when we realize Hallie's been at our house for like 4 or 5 days straight. She's at my house right now.
She can cook.
Yeah. Hallie's our live-in housewife. That's what we joke to her all the time. Because there's even nights where we just like make tacos or hamburger helper or something easy like that, and Hallie's just the one that ends up cooking, you know? Even if we're all sitting down to eat together. She also occasionally will just like clean our house. I think part of that is because she wasn't in school this semester, and so there were days, and this is another reason why she ended up at our house, there were days that she would come over on a weeknight. We would all leave for class in the morning, Hallie's still on the couch. Nobody wants to take her home before class, because she's not awake, and so you'd have to like wake her up and let her get ready. And so she would wake up and all of us would be gone, and she would just get bored and clean the house. So I'm sure that won't happen as much next semester when she's back in school. But it's nice, especially because it's like, if you're going to be at our house all the time and not pay rent or utilities, like...
Be useful.
Yeah.
And she is.
And she is. There are times when it gets frustrating, you know, like our bills have gone up a little bit since she started staying at our house pretty regularly and stuff like that. And she goes through, I mean, we drive her everywhere. Like if she comes over, we go and pick her up, and she lives on the other side of campus, which is not, it's not like far. I mean, compared to like if we lived anywhere else, it's not far, but just, we live in Muncie and nothing's that far, so in comparison, it's kind of a drive.
Is she going to live the same place next year?
I don't think she's figured out where she's living next year. She, there was a house she was going to sign on like a month ago, but she didn't have enough for the security deposit. So it was these two girls that like already lived there and just needed a roommate for next year. So if they haven't found somebody by the time she gets her scholarship refund in January, then she's going to sign.
She's totally on her own. No, she's not. She's got this aunt.
She's got this aunt who helps her. I mean, she can't like support her. She doesn't, you know, stand in for a mom or anything like that, but there are things that she helps with a great deal. Hallie's in a pretty big pile of debt because of her medical bills. She had to get a credit card to pay for her medical bills because it was the only way she could pay for them.
They were so high.
She has a lot of health problems.
Yeah, she sort of alluded to that.
She has, her kidneys are going to fail her by the time she's 30, if not sooner. She had a, is it a mastectomy? When you get your uterus removed? When she was like 12.
Hysterectomy.
Hysterectomy. When she was like 12. So she gave on like hormone replacement and stuff like that too.
Why so young?
She had some disorder, I don't remember what it's called. But that's the root of a lot of her health problems.
Well, you know, we were talking about Dustin earlier. I mean, there's another person that, if she makes anything of herself, it will be a huge triumph.
Yeah. And she already kind of has.
And she already kind of has.
She and stopped dropping out of school for a semester didn't affect her student aid.
Because she didn't drop out, she just took a break. And she gets a decent amount of money because she's technically a ward of the state. And
Well, I thought she said she'd aged out of the...
She did. But technically because she's still in school, until she's out of school, she's a ward of the state. Or she has like ward of the state paperwork that helps her get financial aid. And she was valedictorian of her high school, so she gets... there's like a specific scholarship that she gets for that.
Okay, changing the subject. You got new insurance?
I will. Very excited about it.
Yeah. So, you can get new glasses, she said.
I'm gonna get new glasses. I'm gonna get like a real like eye exam and not just a LensCrafters eye exam, because that's the issue. Is my glasses are just slightly off because the LensCrafters eye exams just aren't thorough enough to really get the right prescription. I've never been able to anyway. I mean, I've gotten 2 pairs of glasses from there, after an eye exam, and both of them have been just slightly off, just off enough that I don't like to wear them. I mean, I wear my glasses when I drive at night. Oh, I forgot my glasses. I'll be fine. Like if I am up late on my computer, like writing a paper or something, I'll put my glasses on because it hurts my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But I would wear them a lot more if they were a perfect prescription.
And this insurance will cover that, huh?
Mm-hmm. And it's like 50% of dental. So I'm going to get my wisdom teeth taken out.
Yeah, gotta do it.
Yeah.
When is that gonna happen?
I don't know. I'm going to have to kind of wait and see what my semester looks like and figure out when I can take. Because in a perfect world, I don't have classes on Thursdays. I don't have classes Tuesdays or Thursdays next semester. So in a perfect world, I could get it done on a Thursday and then skip Friday classes and do that on a weekend where we have like a Monday off. One of those like random Monday holidays. And then I would have Thursday through Monday to recover.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to look at the calendar and figure out how realistic that is and get my syllabus for all my classes to make sure that missing a Friday isn't going to affect too much. Sooner rather than later.
Are your teeth giving you any problems? I mean,
no, they just said, I mean, he told me about a year and a half ago that I should get it done in the next year. It's really just...
But it's not a pain or screwing up, it's just that
but
the teeth are going to crown.
If they become a pain, I've already screwed up my teeth, basically. I mean, like, if they grow into a point where I'm, like, feeling it, then it's probably already started crowding my teeth. And I had braces for 5 years.
That's why Lori got hers out. That's why Kenny got his out.
Yeah, I understand. Most of the problem is not that they're impacted, it's that if they come in, they're going to goof up all the orthodonture. So I get it. Okay, well, we have that to look forward to. I mean, we do and you do.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to being able to go to the doctor more regularly. Not having to worry about it. And I'm just through the IU Health Network, so...
What's the copay?
I think it's $35, which is the same as my old one was.
No, I think it's 30.
30? Okay. My old one was $35, so...
Yeah, it seems like a pretty good plan. I mean, you never really know until you have used it and all. But on paper, it looks like a lot better than what you had.
Uh-huh.
So, and hopefully it'll be good for your mom too, so it'll work out.
Yeah.
Okay, so we did this off camera, but tell us about your San Francisco trip plans with Hallie.
We're going for the week of spring break. We're going for a whole week. We've got some stuff. We've got a list of ideas. We don't really have anything planned because we want to wait until we get our airline stuff and kind of get a better idea of how long stuff's going to take. We've only really sat down for about an hour and a half one night to think about stuff, so
yeah,
we haven't thought about it
a week
super
could
realistically.
be less than a week depending upon your travel schedule.
Exactly.
You were talking about taking a red eye or something? Or?
We're taking a red eye on, well, it'll be like Saturday morning, and we're not going to get there until Saturday evening because of the time change, and we have a layover. So we're going to spend Saturday evening just hanging out. We're not trying to plan anything then. So our vacation really starts Sunday.
With Carol a little bit.
Yeah, that'll be nice. So our vacation really starts Sunday.
So you talked about Alcatraz at night.
I'd like to do that. I think that would be cool. It's a little more expensive, but it's only like $10.
We did Alcatraz during the day with you, right?
Right. So for you, that would be good because you've been there during the day.
Although a night tour, from what I saw, is like 8 p.m. So I hope it's actually dark.
That's halfway through.
March? Is this now daylight saving time in March? When does
It stops the 1st of April. It's October to April.
Well, if it's standard time, yeah, it'll be dark by 8. Cold. Oh, it'll be cold out there.
Yeah. It'll be warmer than it is here, though.
Take layers. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
It's going to be the same temperature in Sacramento on Christmas Day as it is here.
Really? It's going to be like 60 here on Christmas, isn't it?
52 was what I heard. or was it saw?
Still,
You could
Yeah.
you could get into a lot of rain, but you know, just have to deal with it. So
Yeah.
take layers.
there's also some stuff that we're waiting to plan until like super close to the trip, so that we can look at weather and stuff like that. Because things like biking across the Golden Gate, like obviously that's super weather dependent.
Yep.
So our plan is to have at least 3 of our days that are open enough that we could swap things out.
Most things you don't have to schedule way in advance.
Right.
I mean,
No, you're
Yeah.
talking about going to the Exploratorium.
Yeah,
You just
it's really
go.
just for our own like peace of mind having things scheduled. That's really
Yeah.
the big thing. And then she wants to do the Harvey Milk tour, which is a walking tour, so weather's got to be decent then too. But I mean, I think we're gonna wait until kind of closer to the date
That
to
must
buy
be
that.
in the Castro district. That's where, I think that's where Milk lived, and I'm sure that's the district he represented.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that one of the instructions says meet under the giant rainbow flag.
Which one?
oh, we didn't send you the city lights.
It's online. We can send her a link.
Yeah, didn't send it to you. Gotta do that. City, what is it, City Guides?
City Guides, I
Yeah.
think it's called. Yeah, City.
I think I found the website. I've looked at it a
Did
little
you?
bit. Yeah.
There's some
And
interesting
you've
things on there.
experienced it, so you know kind of what it's like.
Yeah.
Although they vary depending upon the guide.
I think we're probably going to be.
We've had some good ones and bad ones.
We're going to lean more toward like less days with tours and more days of just kind of wandering around and doing our own thing. And
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah.
And if you have a Clipper card, you know,
Why
just
not?
get on a streetcar. Go
Yeah.
out. Go out to the what do they call it? The Western Annex. You know where the Cliff House and all that is.
yeah,
Go to the beach. And,
yeah.
You know, there's that Dutch windmill over there.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanted to just,
Yeah.
relax. I mean, there's nothing to tour. I guess you can go to the windmill and stuff.
One of the things I didn't think about that would be kind of cool is the Winchester Mystery House. How close is that to the city?
Oh, that's a long
Not
way.
close.
Is it a long way?
San
Okay.
Jose. It's San Jose or
Oh,
Campbell,
okay.
actually. Yeah. But you might look at the city guides, the old Victorian tour.
That would be cool, yeah.
Because it's not the Winchester Mystery House, but it's the same flavor in terms of the architecture, the
Yeah, yeah.
furnishings and stuff like that. You might be able to go on a tour of the ballpark.
That'd be cool. We've thought about it.
Have you ever been on a tour of the park?
I mean, I've been a lot of places in the park.
Yeah, but you never.
The tour takes you into the locker room, the batting cages, the clubhouse,
Yeah,
the
that's cool.
visitors locker room. Yeah, and I wonder if they go into the Gotham Club now. You know that the Giants established a really
really
upscale, fancy club. You know the Giants were called the Gothams in their early history, so this
Okay.
is the Gotham Club. And you know where the hand-operated scoreboard is out in right center field? Well, it's behind that.
That's part of it. There's more to it than that.
And Fidel is very proud of the fact that he's been in there. Somebody took him in there. And we always go, oh, yeah.
He knows somebody that gets him into everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
But
really
I wonder
gets
if that would be
around.
on the tour, because we're never going to get in.
Well, I talked to Cindy and she said, well, if you want to pretend like you want to be a member, they will let you go on a tour. And I said, I don't want to do it that way.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
But, restaurant,
Yeah, but they would
restaurant
believe you.
and bowling alley. And, I mean, what are you doing? You're there to watch a game, not bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bowling alley. That's ridiculous. That's an affront to baseball, you know?
Yeah. I don't quite understand it.
You want more lasagna? We're going to have cupcakes, aren't we? And ice cream.
Ice cream.
I think I'm good. I'm gonna make my stomach hurt with cupcakes and ice cream if I eat more lasagna. Did we cover all the things?
I guess so. You want to talk about Bernie?
Sure.
Got a sticker on it.
Haha.
I do.
So, what's his policy for beating ISIS?
He didn't really have one.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
Does he?
He-
I haven't heard about it.
He's developed one.
Has he?
Well, I'm not sure of the details, but he is less hawkish than Hillary, which I think is going to be a point of differentiation. And it'll be interesting. We know where the Republicans voters sit. You
Right.
know, they want to bomb the shit out of ISIS. But it'll be interesting to see how far the Democrats want to go.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't even kind of paid attention to the news in probably 2.5, 3 weeks now, just because of finals and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and that debate.
So
was,
any information I have is a little dated.
I think the last debate, you were taking your last final.
Probably.
How do you guys
Well,
want
no,
to do the ice cream?
you weren't
with
taking
cupcakes?
it,
You
but
want
you were
a
in
bowl
the-
or a plate?
Don't you have like a garbage can?
You.
Little bowl for ice cream and little plate for cupcake?
Okay.
Or even just a napkin for the cupcake would be fine.
Oh, splurge and have a little plate.
Alright.
You want? This is getting dangerous.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Whoa, get your hand out of my neck.
Oh,
I'm bleeding. I hope I don't get blood in your ice cream. How much of this do you want?
Just like a scoop. That was awful.
I think I didn't give you a full scoop.
Good?
I think that maybe the Ben & Jerry's oatmeal one was not oatmeal raisin, it was just oatmeal cookie.
I think it was.
Oh, I think it
yeah.
was just oatmeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The raisins make it interesting. It's not bad, but it's not Ben & Jerry's oatmeal cookie.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't think Ben & Jerry's makes that stuff anymore.
Boy, I can't find it. I have tried.
Does Ben & Jerry's have a website?
Yep.
Have you been to the website?
Probably was.
Surely you
One of the
can't order
searches.
ice cream online.
No, try to find if they have the flavor
Mm-hmm.
and where it's
And it still
sold.
exists.
And where you
Yeah.
get it, yeah. Yeah. Probably can't order. Well, now you have to go to work, huh, Em? I mean, not now, but
Tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm hoping I make a little bit of money.
Nobody
That's-
took you up on your offer took you up
I
on...
haven't checked my email, but I kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
It would be nice to make. I know I'm not going to make much money because it's just so slow. But I don't have any money right now, and I know that I'm not going to need any for a little bit because I'm going to be home. But to have at least something in my bank account would be nice.
Go into the PNC account. It's okay.
Yeah.
Take what you need, and especially for those things that at Amazon. I think that's a debit card too, isn't it? So you can
I
just-
already tried to buy it. It hasn't been taken out of my account yet. I think probably Amazon won't process it until business hours tomorrow. But it's on there, so hopefully that'll work.
And you gave them the PNC card.
Uh-huh.
Okay, good.
My PNC card is registered to my Amazon. It's not my primary card.
Someplace there's a check from your dad. I don't know where I put it. So I remember to give it to you.
All right, you mean the $75? Well, she needs it.
Yeah, but it's on the first of the month.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm hoping I get, I think my mom probably got me some clothing gift cards because I want to go buy myself something sparkly for New Year's.
Well, you could get a big spender tomorrow.
That would be very cool.
Big tipper.
What I've been doing the last couple days at work is just anytime a big party comes in, I'm like, yeah, I'll take them. I took a 14 top by myself and made $60.
That's nice.
That's what you gotta do. I mean, it used to be that I was like, no, I absolutely don't want a big top. But as long as I don't have too many other tables at the same time, I can handle it. And a lot of the time when you have big parties like that, they'll order drinks too, which makes their bill go up. And I go back every 5 minutes and I'm like, does anybody need another drink? Anybody need another drink? So that I can try to get them to buy more drinks, and then their bill goes up more, and I get a good tip. I also am attentive, at that point, because I've checked on them a lot. I had a big party the other day. This was the party I made $60 off of, so they couldn't have hated me too much. But every time I went up, I would be like, "Are you guys doing all right?" And everybody would just stare at me and not say anything. And I was like, "Yeah, okay." Or I'd be like, "Do you guys need anything else to drink?" No? No, okay. I don't know what to do. Tables do that all the time, especially when there's several people. Either you'll go up and nobody will stop talking, so you're just like standing there wondering whether you interrupt them or do you just patiently stand and eavesdrop on their conversation for a couple minutes? Like, well, what do you do? Or sometimes you'll get their attention and they just don't talk. They'll just stare at you.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
you're so awkward. Like, say something, please. I'm
I
just
think-
trying to help.
I think it takes a little bit of leadership at the table. So
Yeah.
somebody goes, for example, you come up and you say, "Is everything okay?" Well, one person doesn't want to speak for the whole table, or
Right.
shouldn't. So it's helpful if somebody says, "Is everybody okay?"
Uh-huh.
You know, this kind of thing.
And that happens a lot. There'll be one person, and usually when that happens, when I go up to a table, I'll address that person. Like, once I realize that there's a person doing that.
Who's the leader in the
The
group?
leader.
Especially when it's like families, if it's like the mom has been speaking most, I talk to the mom or, you know, whatever. I try to talk to dads because they tip more. We have like a VIP program where like, you like earn points for buying stuff and you get like $10 off the month of your birthday and $10 off the month of your anniversary. It's a pretty cool deal. But basically the way I find someone's VIP info is they give me their phone number. And so I had this big table the other day and this guy was like, "Hey, is it too late to give you my number?" And his daughter goes, "God, Dad," right in front of Mom. And I was like, she was kidding, but I was like, I don't know how to handle this. Yeah, you can still give me your number.
Being a server is it's a life experience, isn't it?
Well, at least you don't have to wear short skirts. I hated that.
Can't imagine.
Couldn't bend over.
You have to. You have to be able to bend over. I'll wear my new jeans to work tomorrow. It'll be great. Or my leggings. I can wear
Do you have Scotty's t-shirts that you guys wear?
I have a couple t-shirts and I have a couple v-necks. And Miranda's got a couple v-necks because she works there, so we're able to like share clothes, which is nice. I tend to wear work shirts more than once, and they're like dirty and stained, but I mean, it's gonna get dirty and stained in the first 10 minutes that I'm there anyway. So like, I only have 3 of them. If I'm working a week straight, there's no way that I'm gonna be able to keep all of them clean. There was one day I couldn't find any of my work shirts. I was like, "Miranda, do you have a work shirt?" And she was like, "Not one that's clean." And I was like, "Do you have one that's like kind of clean?" Because it's one thing to wear your dirty shirt. It's another thing to wear somebody else's dirty shirt. So I wore her dirty shirt to work.
No choice.
Did you smell the armpits first?
I don't know if anybody could smell me if I did stink. I come home and I reek. I always feel like I smell so bad. There's like a very distinct restaurant worker smell. You know, and if I come home and I can smell that, I like have to change immediately.
What does it smell like?
The grease and,
Yeah, it just, I don't know how to explain it. It just smells like you've been sitting in a kitchen that's cooking food for 4 hours.
Do you actually go into the kitchen?
No, but I'm right outside the kitchen and I'm serving food. And I mean, I'm expected to carry 3 trays at once, so there's one here, and one in my hand. So I mean, I end up with sauce all over my boob every time I go into work, because there'll be like a sauce thing here and it's like right here and it tips a little bit, and all of a sudden I've got sauce all down my shirt every time.
An occupational hazard. So, I was interested, you said if you had a big top, meaning a table with a lot of people at it,
Yeah.
but you still have a certain number of tables, and it doesn't matter if there's
Well,
twice the number of people at one table?
what
it's
ends up
still
happening
just
a lot, the way our sections are, and they should change this is stupid, is that if they have to push a bunch of tables together, it ends up being tables from 2 people's sections, 2 or 3 people's sections, depending upon how big the party is.
Okay.
So like when I had this 13 top, I had a table from my section and a table from each of the 2 sections next to me. So basically what I did is I technically still had 2 open tables in my section, but I went, because I have these 3 tables, but this is a short top, this is a tall top, and this is a booth. So they can't push all those 3 together. So instead they pushed the 3 tall tops, which 2 of those are not my tables, if that makes sense. So what I did was I went to the other 2 servers from the other sections and said, hey, you can each have one of my other open tables, because I took one of yours.
Mm-hmm.
So they just covered those tables until they had theirs back. And there's times when people just, I mean, there's people who just hate taking big parties.
So by switching around like that, you tend to even out the number of customers that you have, not tables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I probably still made, I can guarantee I made more money during that time because I just had a big table with a really big bill.
Mm-hmm.
But at least I wasn't just completely taking one of their tables. Because if I had done that, then they would be down to 2 table sections, and I would have a 13 top and 2 tables.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair. Mm-hmm. There's some
That's
servers.
a lot to cover too.
I can do it. I can do it. I have become, especially in the last couple weeks, the server that the hosts come to when like everybody has too many tables, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. Because I need the money, and I can get in a zone and be fine. And I'm also just very nice, and so, you know, if I go up to a table and I'm like, I'm going to be right back with you guys, I'm so sorry for the wait, I'll be right here. I usually make up for it, and I'm, you know, cool. But there's some servers that really like to take big parties, like I do, because they want the money. There's some servers, especially a lot of the newer servers, don't like to take big parties on their own. Technically, we're not supposed to take big parties on our own, but it's always the worst.
What do you
If
mean
you
you're not
have-
supposed to? You're supposed to have
You're
2
supposed
servers?
to split it,
Oh.
but the thing is, it ends up being a pain because the only real hard thing about a big table like that is getting drinks, because it takes for freaking ever. Because you're at the soda fountain and there's 13 drinks that you're trying to get, you know what I mean? So that's really all you end up needing help with. Taking the orders takes a long time, but you can only really have one person do that. So really you're better off to just take it on your own. I mean, I could take a 20-25 top on my own and be fine. I mean, it would be a lot of work, and it would take their food a long time to come out, but that's not, like, a second server is not going to help with that. So what really ends up happening when they make us
I
split
would
tables...
think a second server could take orders, and then you'd get all the orders taken in half the time, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
Why not?
it just ends up being a pain, though, because then you have to split the tip. Like, I would rather take a little extra time to get all the orders and get the full tip. You know? So anytime I've been told to split a big table, if I know it's someone who takes big parties very well, I basically say, hey, I'll help you get drinks. If you need anything beyond that, let me know and throw me some money. If you don't need anything, let's pretend that I'm helping you with this table for the sake of the manager's not getting mad at us, but keep the tip.
Well, then, in that case, would you trade for his or her tables?
Probably, yeah. Big parties don't always get put in your section, though. Because, I mean, some of the more experienced servers there, they give us the big parties, and we end up taking someone else's section. So.
Boy, it isn't that long ago when we were talking about your first day of work.
I like serving. I've decided, I think I'm a nicer person when I'm serving regularly. When I'm like working all the time. Because I'm forced to be very like perky and, you know, happy and make conversation. And so that kind of ends up just carrying to outside of work. I mean, I even found myself the other day, I was like getting a drink in the kitchen and I was like, does anybody want anything? Like, you're still like... I just do it. I don't know why. Like, I had just gotten off work, you know, so I was like still in the mindset of like, take care of everybody, do what everybody needs. And I think it's easy when I'm not serving as much for me to get a little bit more introverted. But when I'm serving super regularly and I'm meeting new people every day and I'm making conversation, it's easier for me to make conversation in everyday life. Because it kind of forces me to be an extrovert. Because I am. I just get grumpy when I...
So, you'd probably be a nicer person if you directed a musical once in a while.
I'm still interacting with people in the same way, whether I'm directing a musical or a play.
What's the perky factor?
The thing is, I'm not perky, I'm personable.
Yeah.
You know? I think if a server is
Perky,
super perky,
yeah.
I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
I don't want a
It
server
can
that's
be
overly perky.
It can be carried too far.
Yep, I agree.
I just like make conversation and, you know.
Do you find there are people who don't want to make conversation like you're
Mm-hmm.
you're the help
Yeah.
and you should
Well,
be
it's not
seen-
even always
seen
you're the
and
help.
honored?
It's just like, I think some people just aren't as good at conversation, and it kind of comes off like that. There's people who come in. I can usually tell how a table's gonna be because my first thing I'll do, I have to go up and like put coasters, and I'll be like, hey, how are you guys doing tonight? And usually, if they say, good, how are you doing? Then we're gonna be able to have conversations, and they're gonna be personable. But if they're just like, we're all right, I'm like, all right, I'm your server, and that's it, and that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I know, I'm fine with that. Me not standing here talking is giving me more time to do other stuff. So really, it's okay. But yeah, I've learned to kind of gauge.
Well, I ask you that because I've been out in a lot of situations like business things, and I've noticed that there are people who treat servers as servants.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, we're on such a different social class. I'm not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
Why would I talk to you?
Boy, that's true.
Just bring the food.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Have you
true.
seen that?
I've been there.
That happens sometimes.
Oh, you've been there.
So
You've been in the
honestly-
servant class?
Yeah.
I've been there sometimes, but to me, it's like it doesn't really bother me anymore. It's just kind of like, I'm gonna be super nice to you, and I'm gonna be very professional, and I'm gonna be what you want me to be, and tip me. You know? Because as much as I love table, I don't want anyone to be rude to me. Like that, as long as you're not gonna be like a jerk, we're fine. If you don't want to sit here and make conversation, that's fine. I don't care. You're giving me more time to do other things, to talk to other tables, to you know, run other food.
Yeah,
some
and I guess
some people with kids are really crappy. Some parents are really cool. Like if you can like talk to their kids, they really like it, and it's like really good for tips. But some people are just like annoying. Like I feel like parents with like unruly kids want you to take their order and leave as soon as possible because they have to deal with their kids.
That's probably true.
And I try to talk to kids because I had a pet peeve when I was little because nobody knew that I could talk because I was little. And they would talk to my parents and they wouldn't talk to me, and I hated it. It drove me nuts. So I try to talk to kids, and sometimes I'll be like, okay, like, what do you want to drink? And the kid will just stare at me, and I'm like, okay, so what does she want to drink? Like, I don't know how to handle this child who just doesn't talk. Sometimes kids are nasty too, especially kids who are like not super little, but they're not like teenagers yet, like 11, 12-year-olds are like rude.
A group of kids who don't really fit in the world.
Yeah, they're kind of
What do you
rude.
mean, like rude? They say,
I feel like they almost look at you as servant class, like especially if they're like upper, like if they're clearly more wealthy kids, their parents are going to be nicer to you than they are a lot of the time.
ah.
There
Have you heard about this kid
I was just going to say.
who his defense, he committed a crime. It doesn't matter. But his defense was affluenza, which it's a made-up word, but
Right.
it's defined as being too rich and therefore not
He
knowing
says he
right
never
from
knew
right from wrong.
And he got
So
off.
that's what you're talking about, affluenza.
Well, I had this table the other day that was, first of all, I think the parents were crazy. But it was a little girl, like, still ordering off the kids' menu, little kid who was probably like 11, and older brother who was probably like 13, 14. And the kid who was like 11, at first I thought the parents were just being crappy because he asked if he could have like a Pepsi or something, and they were like, no, you've already had a soda today, you need to have water or milk. And I was like, this kid's like 11, like, let him have a soda. Whatever. So he got milk, which was weird for an 11-year-old to get a glass of milk. Like, that's a little weird. And then his brother got a soda, and he was like, ugh. And his mom was like, well, he hasn't had a soda today. And every time the kid, the like 11-year-old talked
So
to me.
apparently they could have one per day.
Yeah. Every time the 11-year-old would talk to me, he'd be like, can I have this? And his dad would be like, please.
Mm.
And at first I was like, these parents are like crazy. And they seemed like kind of like, they seemed like crazy soccer mom and dad sort of people, you know? But then I started to realize this kid was freaking rude. And like them pushing him to say please and thank you was because he was rude. You know? They weren't just like being jerks to him. He was just like rolling his eyes at me, and like I'd be like, is everything tasting okay? And he was like, yeah. Well, he ordered a half salad as his meal, and both of his parents ordered a salad to come out before their meals. Like, it was as their side, but they wanted it to come out before their meal. And so I brought his parents' salads out, and he was like, are you gonna bring mine? And I was like, well, I put yours in with your meal because I thought it was your meal. Is that all right? And he just like rolled his eyes, and his dad was like, yeah, that's perfect, thank you.
The Scotty's doesn't have the system where somebody takes the orders and somebody else brings the food out to you.
Whoever is back and able to run food runs food. So we all run food for each other. I run food to other tables. If I'm there, I take my, if I'm there and I see that another server's like picking up my food to take it, I'll be like, oh no, like I'll get it. Because I would rather take my own food.
Yeah.
But I'll
You
also
weren't-
take
you
other
weren't here
people's
when
food.
Emily explained that before, because I asked her about that too. And I always thought that that it was on purpose, that people who took your order did not bring your food out to you. There was a different category of server,
Yeah.
you know. But, and this makes perfect sense, what Emily explained to me was that when the food is ready, the priority is to get it out. Don't let it sit there and get cold. So whoever is available runs the food out. And it could be your server, but usually it's not.
Well, usually if I'm like running another server's food and they're like coming in the alley as I'm running it, I'm like, hey, this is yours. Do you want to run it, or do you want me to go ahead and run it? And if they're busy, they're like, will you please run it? And it's fine. But most of us, if we're able to, like to take our own food, because then we can like make sure everything's fine, and it just kind of looks better if you take your own food.
Yeah.
But there's also been nights that I'm so busy that I haven't been back in the alley in 20 minutes and my food was up. And so if I had to run my own food, I'd be screwed, you know? So whoever was there, that also means sometimes I walk past my table and they have food and I'm like, oh,
We've experienced this, I think
Yeah.
at Bahama Breeze. Sometimes the manager will run the food.
Yeah. Well,
We have a
that
manager-
happened at, where were we, Chili's recently?
Well, I don't know.
We have one manager who is kind of a jerk and refuses to. He'll be doing nothing. There'll be one order in the window. He'll sit there and go, I need a runner. Why isn't anybody running this food? I need a runner. When he's not doing anything. But we have another manager who will run food because she used to be a server. So she's better about it.
I think all restaurant managers should have worked the floor.
I think they all have at some point. I just think our general manager, Phil, who is way cooler than he comes off as. Like, he's kind of grumpy, but really he's, like, not a terrible person. He's just kind of mean sometimes. I think he's just hasn't worked it for so long that it's an issue.
Forget what it's like.
Yeah. Or, like, when we're super dead And so we're all like standing back in the alley because there's nothing to do. And the manager comes back and is like, why are you all standing back here? There's this new thing that they've been doing called, where they talk about how the customers aren't in the alley. You need to be out helping the customer. So if you're standing in the alley, you're doing something wrong because you're not helping anybody. Sometimes we have 3 tables in the restaurant and 7 servers on. Do you really want us to just take laps around the restaurant?
It looks really bad, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and when they come in and they're like, why are you all standing here? You need to do something. It's like, clearly we're slow and you need to phase some people out. Because if we don't have enough to do, there's too many of us here. You know? The people who are closing would like to make more money and get more tables. The people who aren't closing would like to go home because they're doing nothing.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this week I refused to pick up any closing shifts because I knew we were going to be slow. And I figured if I wasn't making any money, I didn't want to be forced to stay all night. I wanted to go home when we slowed down. So on busy nights, if you're closing, you make a lot of money because by the end of the night, there's only 3 servers on. So you're getting a lot of tables. But if it's not a busy night, then you probably made as much, maybe even less, as the people who didn't close.
Mm-hmm. But how do you know? You do know, huh?
Yeah, you go in, it depends on what section you're in. So sections 1, 2, and 3 are closing sections, and they usually come in at 5 or 5:30. And then 4, 5, 6 are not closing sections, and they come in, I think 4 comes in at 4:30, 5 and 6 come in at 4. And then 7 and 8 are bar sections, and a lot of the time bar servers don't come in until 5 or 6 because that's when the bar gets busy. The bar is like 4 tables, and they, for a while, were scheduling 2 bar servers, which is stupid because then neither of them is really making much money. And there are very few servers at Scotty's right now that are brand new, and so we all can handle 4 tables. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard. So they've started sending a bar server home every night, which is kind of frustrating for anyone who's scheduled in the bar because you could show up and be told to go home. That happened to me the other day, but it was because I'm not 21 and they keep scheduling me in the freaking bar and I can't serve in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
Won't be long.
No.
You think you want to do that up in Chicago?
Serve? Probably. I like serving. I really like the idea of bartending, and I think it's a skill that would be really cool to know. But I think I really like serving.
Yeah, but
so I'll probably train to bartend, and I'll do both. Because there's a lot of bartenders that do that.
You ought to go for it. And
yeah.
If you don't like it, then don't do it.
Right.
Okay, I'm turning off the movie camera. Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
He'll have some editing to do, I think.
Yeah.